Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very exciting video for you guys. I'm going to be starting a series where I complete as many books off of my physical TBR as possible. I think I knew very early on. So this is kind of a goal that I had for myself going into the new year. I made a few goals from not only my personal life, but also from my reading life throughout 2026 that I want to complete. Last year, I kind of had a little bit of a reading slump just with being busy and everything, traveling, starting to plan a wedding, all the good things. It's all good and exciting stuff, but I really do want to get back to focusing on just my content creation and reading life. It just brings me so much joy and I love this hobby. It just really lets me have this creative outlet. So with that, I have so many books that are on my physical TBR. It's not as many as I see some other people maybe post of their like full libraries and stuff. And I do think it's always good to have a backlog of books and be supporting the book industry in general. However, it's kind of stressful having so many books on my physical TBR, and I find myself not reaching for them all the time and going and buying other books rather than just reading the books that I already have on my shelf that I know I'm interested in. I am making it a priority this year to finish as many books, hopefully all of them, on my physical TBR and just eliminate and start fresh on my physical TBR. Because I'm just now starting this series, I'm still kind of blueprinting and mapping out how I want this series to look like and how I'm going to accomplish this goal. However, I think I'm going to kind of put myself on a book buying ban. I think that's going to be my rule number one, is to not buy any more books until I can get through this like collection that I have behind me. I just have been going out of my way and buying books that are not even new. They're just books that I'm interested in, which is great and fun and all, but they will always be there. I already have these books. I don't need to be spending any more money buying more books. That'll be my first one. The exception to that rule will be new releases, because there are a few new releases that are coming out this year that I'm really excited about and have been anticipating, and so I really do want to go out and buy those books. However, they're kind of seasoned throughout the year, so it's not like I have a bunch coming out at one time that I'll be buying, so I think that's okay. I will buy new releases anytime because it's just really exciting for me. So that's the exception to rule number one of my book buying ban. My second rule, because of my book buying ban, I'm really just going to be focusing most of my monthly TBRs on the cart behind me and the shelf behind me of my physical TBR. I'm going to be trying to read at least 4 to 5 of these per month. I will and do receive some free books every now and again, so I'll be kind of like putting that into the mix as well just to get through what I have. But I've been reading on average about 5 books per month. It kind of varies from like 4 to even like 10 books per month, and so I'm just gonna try my best to read at least 4 per month, and I think I'll be able to kind of like push my way through the year with that and get through this list that I have. But going on to the collection that I have of my physical TBR, it kind of started growing because I started receiving books for free in the mail, so that kind of, you know, automatically just puts so many more books on my shelf. And then I also just have some books on here that are from series that I'm in the middle of that I want to complete, and or just like some new releases that came out around the same time last year that I just went ahead and purchased, and then just kind of like sporadic like in the moment purchases that I had from either like having gift cards or just feeling the need to scratch the itch of going book shopping. But that ends now. I need to get through this. It's too much. It is too crazy. So now I'm going to take you guys through just a little bit of a mini tour of what I have right now on my TBR and where we will start from there. So I kind of went through a reorganizing process during my last video of putting all of the books that I had on my physical TBR from my cart down here up onto the shelf above. It just makes it a little more visible for me to see what I have, so that when I start a month and I'm reaching for books for that month, I am able to kind of visualize more so what books I have, because with the cart I felt like a lot of the books were kind of hidden. So this kind of just organizes my brain at least a little bit more. So let's start up here. Up here I have Sparks Fly, Just Our Luck, The Redo List, This Book Made Me Think of You, Dark Roads, The Self-Made Widow, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. I have Catching Fire, Mockingjay, Men Who Hate Women, The Four Winds, Legend Born. I also have My Name is Eva. I have Broken Souls and Bones, The Will of the Many, Catabasis or Catabasis. And then down here on my cart of books that are on my immediate TBR that I want to be picking up within the next month will be All This Twisted Glory, The Correspondent, Wild Reverence, The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, Dishonestly Yours, The Bachelor Cowboy, and Destructively Mine. I also have on here Women Racing Class, which I've just been kind of picking up and reading on and off throughout the last month. So that's already something that I'm currently in the middle of. Those are the current books that I have on my physical TBR. Again, they're just books that I've kind of collected throughout the last year. They've been gifts from people, gifts from publishers, as well as just books that I have purchased on my own. It's not like a ton of books when you kind of like read it out loud and display it. It's not too many, but it does get to be a lot, because right now I actually do have a book coming in the mail, but it was a new release. It was released last Tuesday. It's Alice Feeney's new book, My Husband's Wife, and I'm really interested in reading that. That's gonna be I'm gonna read it like immediately once I get it in the mail, because I'm so interested in it. I also got it with a gift card, so does it count? Does it count? It does count. But I'll be reading that as soon as I get it. And then I know I have a couple of other books that are going to be releasing within the next month or two. I know that BK Borison is releasing her next book, And Now Back to You, in the First Time Caller kind of like interconnected series. And that's a book that I'm really interested in reading. I believe it comes out in February, so that'll be added to my February TBR card. But outside of that, unless it's a book that I've been like highly anticipating, if it's a new release and I, again, have not been highly anticipating it, I probably will do my best to hold off on purchasing it. And I am very interested in picking up these books. There's just something so like alluring and exciting. Let's just call it what it is. It is capitalism has like gotten to me with buying books, and genuinely I just need to focus on this. Now, where I'm going to start. So we have quite the variety of options, as you can tell, but I do have it kind of narrowed down to these books that I want to start with in the next month. I have a few romances in here just because in February I kind of want to, focus on the romance a little bit more. Right now I am in the middle of an audiobook, Broken Country, and I'm really enjoying that. I'm kind of enjoying just listening to that right now, but I do want to have a physical book on deck for when I'm ready to pick that up. I feel like I've been kind of flying through books this month, and so I'm kind of feeling myself slump a little bit, so I do want to hold off just for a moment. I'll start a book this week, but I am listening to Broken Country right now, just FYI, and I did get that on Libby, so it wasn't something that I purchased, but I had been waiting for it for a few weeks. I'm really excited, really enjoying that right now. Next on deck though, I'm kind of going in between All This Twisted Glory by Tahira Mafi. The only reason I haven't picked this up yet is because it's the third book in the This Woven Kingdom series, and I do know that the fourth book just came out, and that would be a problem, because if I finish this book and it's a cliffhanger, I'm going to be so enticed to purchase the fourth book to read it. And so that's why I'm kind of holding off on this one. I have to read it at some point though. Like, I have to read it soon. I love this series so far, and I cannot hold off on a series for that long, or else I just like kind of forget what's happening. So I don't know. This is high up there on the list though of books that I want to pick up next. Also, am super curious about The Correspondent. I do know this is quite a bit of a shorter read. It's a book written through letters of this woman throughout her life, and I've seen nothing but good reviews about it, and so I feel like this would be a really good, quick, easy read for me to get off my physical TBR. And again, I've just seen really good reviews about it, so I'm definitely curious. I've never read a book that has been in this style or format before, so very intrigued with this one. High contender here. And then I'm also quite interested in Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. I've read every single other book by Rebecca Ross, so I'm a very big fan of hers. And this is within the Divine Rivals kind of world. It's kind of like a prequel, but it's just like within the world. It's about the gods of that world. And again, I've only ever seen highly rated reviews of this book, and I've seen a lot of people actually recently. I believe this came out sometime last year, but recently I've been getting quite a few TikToks about this book, so it's intriguing me. It's just kind of thick, and I thought this would be a good like maybe February romancy type book, because I do believe there's a romance in this novel. So I don't know, there's a lot of good contenders here, but these are kind of like my top 3 that I'm deciding who to pick from here. So I might actually put like a poll on my story and see what the consensus is, because I don't think I could go wrong with any of the 3, but this is just my issue, is I have so many different books, such a variety of genres and everything, and it's such a good problem to have, but I just never know what to reach for. It's just overwhelming for me to like have so many options, and then I never want to be like disappointed in what I have, So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a poll on my story and see what everyone has to say about what I should read next. But I'm excited. I hope you guys follow me along with this journey. I don't know how long it'll take me. Hopefully not long if I genuinely just do prioritize these books. Hopefully like by halfway through the year, we can see a pretty big dent in this, and then probably start the cycle over and go on a big whopping shopping spree, you know? No, I'm just kidding. Kind of. But I hope you guys follow me along for this journey. I'm really excited to start it, and I think in this video we'll just start off by reading whichever book I decide to choose. Happy Monday. So yesterday I ended up doing the poll that I was talking about on my Instagram with All This Twisted Glory, The Correspondent, and Wild Reverence, and from the jump, The Correspondent had such a higher percentage just pretty much consistently, and so after about a few hours I did decide to then pick up The Correspondent. And I mean, updating to now, I just pulled this about an hour ago, but The Correspondent's at 62%. All This Twisted Glory is at 21% and Wild Reverence is at 17%. All This Twisted Glory and Wild Reverence were kind of tied for the most part. All This Twisted Glory just took the lead there probably not too long ago, so definitely a tie for what I'm going to decide to read next. I guess it'll depend what I'm in the mood for. They're both like fantasy though, so I don't know, we'll see. But I did decide to then pick up The Correspondent, and I'm so happy I did. I flew through the first 44 pages, and like I said, this is in the format of written letters that a woman named Sybil writes to various different peoples in her life. Some of the letters are a little bit longer than others, some of them are fairly short, but this is such an interesting read to me so far. Like, I love it because it tells a story without really detailing too many parts of the in-between, but all the letters are in chronological order. It starts in 2012 and we have Sybil, who just turned 73, and she's writing to her daughter, to old coworkers, to her brother. She's talking about her children and family members, siblings, just like past experiences in her life, things that are like different things that are coming up, you know, any funerals, birthdays, whatnot. So you get a lot out of these letters, even though they're not super long. And I can see where this is going to turn out to be a really good one. I'm excited to get back to it later today, but I just wanted to update you guys on that I did start The Correspondent, and I think this will actually be a really quick read for me. I don't know, I'm so happy that I picked this up though. I'm also still working my way through listening to Broken Country, and it's getting very good, very addicting. I believe I have 2 hours and 18 minutes left. I'm 75% of the way through. I would like to finish it today, but we're really getting into the juicy part of the whole story right now. This third act I think is going to be pretty wild. I have no idea where it's going whatsoever. I have no idea how it's going to end. I have my own opinions, but I don't know, we'll see. That is not really on my physical TBR, but once I finish listening to that, then I'll be able to maybe dive into other books and read 2 different books at one time, because The Correspondent really doesn't take like that much, not brain power, but like mental capacity in my head, if that makes sense. So we'll see. I might be able to fit 2 books into this video. From the audiobook of Broken Country, because I am about an hour out from finishing, but we just learned the craziest thing. This book is crazy. I kind of called it when the chapter started. I went, I literally went, because I was like, oh my God, I think I know what actually happened. That was wild. That's despite the point though. So I am now going to sit down, read a little bit more of The Correspondent once I finish Broken Country. I'm listening to it on 1.25 speed, so I don't know if it'll actually take me the full hour. We'll see, but I would like to read some of The Correspondent, finish Broken Country, and then really exciting news. Actually, like the most exciting news ever. This is literally the reason that I need to be making this video, is because my TBR is literally never ending. Like every time I think I get books dwindled down on my TBR, something just pops up, but it's always a good something. I got The Ark to the Burning Side by Sarah DeMoff, and I am so freaking excited. If you guys do not know, Sarah DeMoff also wrote The Bright Years that was released last year. That was her debut novel, and that was just an incredible story. It was a 5 stars for me. One of my most like notable 5 stars from last year. It definitely stuck with me, and it's a book that I would love to revisit and reread. The Bright Years is about a family from Texas, and it's mostly just, it's a literary fiction surrounding generational trauma, addiction, just I mean, that's kind of the whole story. There's also love stories in there, there's tragedies, but there's also hope in the end. And it was just such a well-rounded story about this family that you just follow through, I believe it's like 4 different generations. And I just love books like that, and it really touched me and impacted me. And I believe The Burning Side is kind of similar. I think it's also set in Texas. I haven't fully like read what the description is, but I do know that this book is releasing in June, so I'm getting the ARC pretty ahead of time, so thank you, NetGalley. It's the most exciting ever, but that also means it has to be my immediate next read, because ever since I read The Bright Years and saw that Sarah was coming out with another book this year, it's been on my radar. Let me see what it is about. A house goes up in flames. Histories emerged. They're focusing on they're trying to decide what is worth salvaging. Okay, it's a family. They're also in Texas. And it surrounds around grief, guilt, logistics. So just another family saga, suffused with humor, longing, and heartbreak. So pretty similar. Not like similar, but I just mean in terms of like what the general what am I trying to say? Plot? Not even plot. Vibe of the book. I don't know, but I'll definitely be reading it and letting you guys know what I think of it. Interesting things with arcs though is because this one is so far out, I don't know when I'll be able to like post a full review or even really talk about a lot of it. Probably not until like right when it comes out. But I mean, I can say if I liked it or not, so I'll let you guys know if I like it. Yeah, those are my little mini updates. I'm gonna finish listening to Broken Country. I genuinely, I don't know what, I feel like what we just listened to was like pretty damning. So I got about an hour left. We'll see what else comes of that. If you guys have read Broken Country, you know, I just got to the part where we found out what happened that night, you know? Good morning. I don't think I've updated in a couple of days. It's Wednesday and I completely thought it was Thursday for a minute. It's Wednesday and I didn't film anything at all yesterday. However, I did kind of show myself reading a little bit of The Correspondent. I woke up really early yesterday because I had a doctor's appointment in the morning, but I was able to get a little bit of reading done, and then I also read a little bit more last night, and now I'm on page 126. I'm almost halfway. I think it's a little under 300 pages, so I'm gonna try to read a little bit more tonight because tomorrow, Thursday, I have a completely packed day of work. I think I'm working from like 7 to 7, so don't know how much I'll be able to read of this, but I presume I will be finished with this by Friday, because Friday I don't really have anything going on. Like I'm working and then I have Pilates, but it's a Friday, so party, I'll be reading. And then I don't know if I ever gave an update for when I finished Broken Country, but I finished listening to Broken Country probably like 2 days ago. I ended up rating it a 4.25 stars. I really liked it. I thought it was so good and interesting, and I was definitely on the edge of my seat there towards the end, trying to piece together everything that was happening. If you guys don't know, it is, I mean, is it a mystery? I don't even know kind of what it is classified as. A literary fiction mystery drama, I guess, and it's about this woman named Beth, and you go back and forth between different timelines in the 60s, 50s, And it's essentially like a love triangle. It goes back and forth between when she met her first love, Gabriel, to present day with her husband, Frank, and just all of the chaotic mess that their life kind of is. And yeah, there's a lot of twists and turns along the way. I will say it wasn't a 5-star for me because I kind of predicted a couple of the twists at the end. They were kind of, you know, in foresight, but I don't think that means that it's a bad book necessarily. I just was kind of like, oh, okay, this is kind of like what I imagined would be the case, you know what I mean? And also I like, I don't know how to say this without spoiling it. I guess I won't say it, but there were just like some elements towards the very end of the book and like things with characters where I was kind of like, well, what the heck? What do you mean? Like what? I don't know. Like it definitely felt, there were a couple pieces that felt kind of rushed or maybe that were missing just that little bit more that I needed. If that makes sense. I'm not really sure if I'm making sense. I really don't want to spoil it because I think it's a really good book and I recommend anyone to read it. There are a few things that happen in there that are a little traumatic. So if you feel the need to, you know, look up trigger warnings, I would recommend that. But 4.25 stars, I think that's a pretty good rating. And I'm getting so into audiobooks now. At first it took me a minute to get into it because there were kind of a lot of like names and moving pieces in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I just like didn't have the best attention span when I started listening to it, but I kept having to like rewind because I would like not really be focusing and then I'd be like, wait, who are we talking about? What is happening? And that kind of usually happens for me with audiobooks. It takes me a minute to get into it. And then once I am, then I just like don't need to like stop or reference it. I just kind of know, you know? But those are my updates. Like I said, later today, I'll try to get a little bit further into the correspondence. It is so good, guys. It's just getting to like that heartwarming spot, you know? Like, and again, it's such a fast read because some of the letters are like a couple of sentences and then others are like a few pages long. Again, with the non-spoilery, just because these are all letters. And so like, I don't want to like give away, you know, the elements that I have found are fun to kind of like figure out along the journey. But as of the beginning of this book, you kind of like get the feeling that Sybil doesn't have some of the best relationships with some people in her life. She definitely has a lot of friends and people that she writes to and that are close to her, but she seems like a little more on like the harsher side. She was a lawyer for most of her life, if that adds any more context to it. And I think, you know, she made some people mad in her life. She was definitely more confrontational. And so she definitely has some skeletons in her closet, if that makes sense. And I think it's just beautiful to see some of the relationships that you can form even in your like mid to late 70s and all of the things that she's like, all the ways that she's growing. I don't even think she realizes it at this point, that she's like kind of growing and changing and still evolving as a person. But I think it's so cool that I feel so connected to this character, even though we're really not seeing like the day-to-day life. We're really just only reading through the letters. I don't know. I just think it's a beautiful book so far. And I don't know, I actually have no idea how this will end. We'll see. But those are my updates. I'm gonna go get back to work now. Another example of my never-ending physical TBR. Exhibit A. It's literally never gonna stop. Shut the f up. Did I ask for this? I don't remember asking for this. Shut the f up. I had to have asked for this, obviously. I'm so excited. Wait a minute. Oh my god. Yay! Don't eat that. Oh my god. Okay, this is a good addition to the physical TBR because this is a book that I was planning on reading. I think I literally talked about it in the beginning of this video. I know that BK Borison is releasing her next book, and now back to you. This is the second book in the First Time Caller series. Oh my god, it comes out the end of next month and I was gonna buy it. Now I don't have to buy it. This is very exciting. Okay, yay. Happy Friday. This is the book that I was talking about earlier, Alice Feeney's new book. I didn't know it was coming today actually, so this is a pleasant surprise. But I will say I am terribly failing already at this video because like I said, I get books for free. I had this book coming in the mail, so everything was already planned, but not me trying to like, oh, I like this cover. Not me trying to dwindle down my physical TBR, and in one video, I haven't even finished my singular book yet, and I've already added 3 books to my TBR. So it's fine though. They were all books that I was planning on reading. I've been wanting to read The Burning Side. It wasn't supposed to come out until June, but I luckily got it on NetGalley, so I'm super grateful for that. So I'll just be reading it a little bit earlier than anticipated. Same with the And Now Back to You that I received yesterday. So excited about that. I was going to purchase it in February, so obviously it's just a little bit early. So it was a planned one, and then this was planned too because this was a new release in January, and I've been very intrigued with the synopsis of it. So this was also planned, but my golly, I've added 3 books to the physical TBR, which just further enhances my point of the video, or this series, which is that I just need to focus on the books that I already have. I cannot continue buying books that are not obviously like new releases that are highly anticipated or just anything. Like I literally just need to focus on the books that I have. But look at it. I like the cover. I'm pretty sure, I think I just saw like a synopsis on TikTok or something, and I was like, what? Like she has her husband, and then she goes home one day and there's another woman there, and her husband's insisting that that woman is his wife. That's all I know. That's all I know is there's literally 2 wives and 1 husband. And I'm like, well, I gotta read it. I'm pretty sure the last Alice Feeney book I read was Rock, Paper, Scissors, and I really liked that one. That was a super good, like, thriller kind of mystery, I guess. And I'm kind of getting the similar vibes from this book, so I'm very excited to get into this one. I'll probably start reading it in like sometime soon. I'm just really excited to start reading The Burning Side, so that will be my next book that I read after I finish the correspondence, which last night I got to page 208 in the correspondence, and I will be finishing it today. There's like 280-ish pages, so I will be finishing this today. And I'll let you guys know my thoughts when I do that. Is it crazy that I'm gonna give this a 5 stars? Like I think I knew very early on when I picked up this book that it was probably going to be a 5-star read for me. And as you guys just saw, I just finished it. I did tear up a little bit. There were tears present. This was absolutely wonderful. This was lovely. And I say, is it crazy? Not because it's a 5-star. 5 stars are pretty rare, but I guess that is why it's crazy, because I have rated 2 other books this month a 5-star, and I feel like finding 3 5 stars in 1 month, that's a pretty good record for me. Like I try to be pretty picky about the books that I read to some degree, you know? Obviously some books I'm just like reading for fun, but like I do want to read books that I think I'll really enjoy and that I'll love. And so this is very exciting for me. I'm glad that I'm following my intuition with that. But like this was such a wonderful surprise. The Correspondent by Virginia Williams. I think I already kind of expressed what it's about, but we are following Sybil throughout. I mean, we start when she's age 73 and we go throughout her 70s and 80s, and it's just like, oh, I don't even know what else to say other than it's a wonderful surprise. I mean, I've pretty much spoke about everything that I can to an extent without giving any spoilers, but just like the relationships that she builds through writing letters, and some of the quotes in this book are so relatable, and it's so, I think that's like the best word, is relatable in the weirdest way possible. Like I don't really relate to Sybil in a lot of ways. We are very different people, but it's just so lively and it's so personal, and it definitely feels like you're actually reading letters of a human. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm sorry. It just feels like you're actually like going through somebody's personal belongings and you're finding letters that they wrote throughout their life. Like it genuinely feels like letters, and it is so also interesting. I feel like I've been using that word a lot. It was also, I have no adjectives, guys. It was also interesting for me to realize that towards the end of this book, a lot of these people that she makes personal connections with, some of them she never meets like face to face or in person. Like she really does have her best like her obvious best communication device is through written letters, and that's how she connects with people, and you kind of get more of an explanation of why she is the way she is, and from her point of view specifically, like she writes some letters towards the end where you have a more better understanding of how she kind of got to this point and how she views her relationships with people, and kind of more of just, again, yeah, her point of view on her life and how it got her to this point. And oh, there's just so much. There's like, considering how short this book is and how short some of the letters are, I felt like I got so much out of it, and that I learned so much from Sybil and felt so connected to her. Again, which is crazy because, like I just said, some of the letters are literally this short. Some of them are a couple pages long. But yeah, I really don't feel like I need to say anything else because I highly recommend this book to you guys, and I don't want to spoil anything. I want you guys to be just as pleasantly surprised as I was, but it's definitely a journey that you go on with Sybil and her friends, her family, loved ones, colleagues, just people that she encounters throughout this time in her life. And oh my gosh, another 5 stars. This is so exciting. I just, oh, how amazing. And I think this cover is so cute too. Look at the little birdies. What a sweet, sweet surprise. I absolutely adore this. So there is one book off of my physical TBR. I'll have to recount. Did I count this in my 25 books? Because I had 25 books on my physical TBR. I believe this was 25. So if you subtract that, it's 24. But I just got a book on my Kindle, and then I got a book in the mail from Berkeley, and then I got my Alice Feeney book, so that adds 3. So then I'm at 27. So I'm actually, oh my god. Unless, I don't know if I added the Alice Feeney book to the 25 books. I'll do a recount, but either way, I'm still above the number of books that I started this video with. So 1 down, but many, many more to go. I have 26 books. I just counted. I have 26. I have 26 books to read. 1 down, 26 to go. I got this. It's fine. It's really fine. That's fine. I read that this is my 7th book this month. It's fine. It's fine. I take the opportunity here to end the video, so thank you guys so much for watching up until this point. I'm going to be continuing this as a series, like I said earlier. I'll be implementing different types of reading challenges and reading vlogs just to mix things up a little bit, get a couple more books read throughout a video rather than just one video or 1 book per video, you know? So hopefully that's fun. Hopefully you guys will follow me along for this journey. Hold me accountable to this, to reading the books that I have. Please, if you have any ideas on different video challenges that you would like me to implement for this, let me know down in the comments below. That would be amazing. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching up until this point. I hope you follow me along for this journey. It's been a long time coming. Need to read these books. I have them for a reason. I purchased them or have received them because I want to read them. So I'm going to. And we will do that together, please. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye.